Go ahead.
You have a lot of cover and very little time, so I'm going to talk about rock climbing. I'm just going to jump right into it. Welcome to the world of rock climbing. There are a couple things I have to say right at the very beginning. It's a very dangerous sport. If you don't take the right safety precautions, you don't use the right equipment, you will injure yourself. You can fall from very high heights and break some bones, or worse, you can die. The couple of tips I give out to first-time climbers would be to climb with a buddy that you trust. A lot of times when you're putting your life in their hands, and you want to be as most comfortable as you are with them so that it makes a more enjoyable experience. The second tip would be to scope out the area before you start climbing. You don't want to end up climbing up a wall and getting in one spot and find out you have to be like 12 feet on the other side and go jumping for it and end up hurting yourself. So it's really just common sense type of things, and as long as you follow that, it will be fine. There are two major groups of rock climbing. There's indoor rock climbing and outdoor rock climbing. Indoor rock climbing is obviously more safer to be in. They have all the equipment that you need, the harnesses, the ropes, the devices, the pulley systems, everything's in place for you. The paths are doable. They're built by people, so you know that someone was able to complete them at one point. Otherwise, they'll have to take it down and redo it. Outdoor, you're fighting against Mother Nature. If she doesn't want you climbing a wall, she's not going to put a path up that way. So you don't want to challenge her because she'll most likely win. Of those two types, it can be even divided into even more groups. I named four of them. There's top rope, bouldering, lead climbing, and speed climbing. I'll go over them a little bit more later, but pretty much top rope climbing, it's like the most relaxing way to go climbing. It's where you begin as a starter. If you ever went to like a birthday party and there's a rock wall there, you see a little kid in the harness and he gets pulled up and climbs up and has fun. That's where you usually start. Bouldering is a little bit more tougher than that. You're free climbing. You're not wearing any harnesses. You're using more dynamic movement. So if you're doing in top rope climbing, you're climbing up slowly and you can reach the rocks. Bouldering, you're sometimes letting go of the wall and jumping for the other ones. After that's lead climbing, which kind of combines the two together of top roping and bouldering. You're wearing a harness, but you're setting the path for your belayer. It's very much more dangerous than the other two. You have to master the other ones before you can start doing lead climbing. And then speed climbing is more of a competition type of thing. It's a predefined wall that you've been practicing for a while, and you see how fast you can get up. Before we go into all that though, we need to know about your gear. You have your rope, your shoes, the chalk, the belaying devices, which are going to be breakers or anchors, your harness, and of course your rock wall. There are a bunch of different types of ropes you can use. This is the twin ropes. You have a horseman rope, half rope, and sag ropes. They come in different, all shapes and sizes, diameters, thickness. Depends on what kind of equipment that you're going to use. It gives you the weight of how much it can hold per meter, and it also gives you the fall rating. The fall rating is there because if you're climbing and you're going to fall off the wall a lot of the times, it's going to put tension on here and could snap eventually. So you want to be able to not be on the wall and fall and hope that your rope's going to hold you up. So you want to switch it out if you fall too many times. Talking about ropes, you're going to need to know a couple of knots to tie in there. The two main ones are the double figure 8 knot and the fisherman's knot. I'm just going to do that real quickly. So the easiest way to remember how to tie a double figure 8, it's a weird story that people come up with, but you'll remember it. So you take the rope and you make an alien head out of it. For some reason. You'll remember the story. So it's coming at you, and the best way to do it, you take the rope and you go around its neck and you strangle it. And to finish it off, you stab it in the head. And then you have a single figure 8 knot. Yeah. From there, to make it a double figure 8 knot, the story goes on to say that they finished probing you, they did all their experiments on you, and to escape, they let you go and you have to follow your path back in order to get out. So if you follow the rope through, you can actually get out of there. So you go that way, over here, back into here, around, and through. And you have your double figure 8 knot. This is actually a pretty good knot because the more tension you put on it, the tighter it's going to be, it's not going to fall off if you're on your harness and you fall. It's not going to come loose, so you're stuck in here. And then from there is the double fisherman's knot, which you would use for the excess, or if you're the belayer, you would use on the device. So that's just simply wrapping around twice and pulling it through the bottom. Once we get through the bottom. But if you tie it too much, I'm kind of hanging, I got the hang of tying it. I can't really show it on this end. Well, that doesn't really matter. It's a simple one. After that, you need to know you have to have a pair of shoes. People believe that rock climbing is all upper arm strength. It's really not. You have to keep your feet in consideration. You want to push up with your feet more often than you're pulling with your arms. You're going to be putting a lot of stress on your arms and you're not going to climb as long. So as you can see, it's an all rubber shoe. The whole base is rubber. It's going to have sharp edges on the end. This is because a lot of the times you're going to have small footholds. Let me see if this works actually. Where you can actually put the shoe in there, and it's going to hold on to there, and it's not going to slip. So the more rubber and the more narrow of a edge you have, the better. Chalk is used for friction. The whole thing about climbing on these rocks is that it's very slippery. You don't want to slip off, especially with indoor rocks that are plastic. So you just kind of put the chalk on. You can't kind of get friction fall, and you're not going to slip off of things like this. This is like pretty much metal up here. So as you can see, my hands aren't really slipping that much off of it. You don't want to slip off while you're on the rocks. You can climb pretty much that. For your belaying devices, they come a breaker and an anchor. Breakers are used by belayers. These are made mostly by Grigri. It's a company that make the best ones so far, the safest. There's a double locking mechanism that I'll show in the next slide. And then you have your anchors. You're going to be using this mostly only when you're lead climbing, really. These are going to be attached to your harness as you climb up. You kind of put them in the certain locations where you can actually set up an anchor and tie yourself into them. So this is the breaker. This part up here will be connected to the climber. This will be clipped onto the belayer, and the belayer will hold on to the end of this rope here. So the way that this works is the rope is fed through right here, and in the case of the climber falling, it pulls this piece up right here, and it pinches the rope in place, and at that point, the belayer's body works as a counterweight. So the climber is falling, it stops the rope, and the belayer kind of gets pulled up, but you hope that he's heavy enough to hold you down and get you back. Anchors, these are, when you're outdoor climbing, you're actually going to use these. You have little cracks in the rocks as you're climbing. That can always have like the rope's not coming down from the bottom, so it's going to be attached to you behind you. So as you climb, you put these in the little cracks. They kind of expand, create friction, and get stuck in there. And you can clip in there and you can rely on them rather well. These are more dynamic ones where you're setting up your own path. These are for paths that have been climbed before, very often, and people actually hammer them in and set them up for you, and just clip on in. And of course, that's the harness. So the harness, you don't want to tie the rope directly to your waist, because if in the intent that you fall, you're probably going to snap your spine somehow. So the best way to do is actually to tie in the double figure 8 knot into this loop right here, and that'll push the pressure around your waist and your thighs so that you're not gonna hurt yourself that much. And then the belayer would also put in the gree in this clip right there. So back to the 4 different types. Top roping, again, is the most relaxing. You're going to start there. It's going to have a climber and a belayer. The climbers, they're both going to have harnesses on. You tie yourself in, and there's a pulley that's anchored at the top of the wall. The way that this pulley is set up is that the ropes kind of weave in there, so it's like a 1-to-3 ratio. So if you're a 100-pound belayer, you can hold on to a 300-pound climber. I didn't originally believe this, and I challenged my instructor on it, and sure enough, he had a 300-pound dead weight.
I can do it lefty.
Going back to the bouldering video. So this is going to show 2 competitors against each other. A lot of these videos are going to be from competitions, because they're the easiest ones to find videos of. All right, so You're going to see that they're going to use two different ways of climbing. Not everyone climbs the same way, obviously. It's whatever fits your body type, really. There's one way that a lot of people try to follow, and it's like the 3-point plant, where of your hands and your feet, you want to keep 3 of them on the wall while you're moving the 4th one. So you can see she doesn't really do that much. She's doing it more that way, but sometimes you have to let go of the wall and really get your feet planted on the next spot, really.
Oh, no.
Ball. Wait, is climbing in the Olympics?
I don't think it is, actually. These are just, it's called IFSC, which is the International Federation of Sport Climbing. So they have their own competitions all over the world. This is in the US, they have them in China.
How do I get down?
So they get to the top of the rock, they put both hands on, and then you just let go. And that's bouldering, so you're going to be 15 feet up in the air, it's not going to be that far of a fall, and you'll land safely. And then for the lead climbing one, this one, as I was trying to say before, you're going to have a harness, but your belayer is at the bottom of it. So you start off the wall climbing regularly as if you were bouldering, but then as you get up higher, your belayer is going to give you enough rope, and you're actually going to clip into the anchors here. And then as you keep going, you keep clipping up, and every time you fall, that would be where you get stopped, hopefully, if your belayer's paid attention and catches you. Which, that's why you want to go with someone that you trust, because then you won't feel as nervous going for these reaches and falling. These are like the longer of the climbs. You can be stressed by the end of it, and to show you how high it goes.
What's the most dangerous climbing? This?
It's going to be this one out of those group of 4s. Another dangerous one is actually ice climbing, where you're using pickaxes and you're free climbing right against the ice wall. So that's pretty far up there, and he trusts that his belayer is going to catch him, so he's going all the way up. He's done this a whole bunch of times. He's done top roping, he's done bouldering, he knows what he's doing, and he keeps climbing, and eventually he gets to the top and falls completely. Because he goes for the last reach, and these are competitions, so you're not always going to get it. You fall, and you're really frustrated, and you show it as you're getting lower down. Yeah.
Wait, now how does he find all those? They just pull the rope.
Yeah, he has the double fish knot,
And then they just
double figure 8. He unties them and they just pull it. Speed climbing is the last of the 4. You're never going to find these outdoors naturally. They're going to be on competitions outdoors, obviously, but those aren't going to be actual rocks. These are paths that are set up beforehand that these competitors have been training for. They've been trying to get up as fast as they can, and you're going to see they look the most like Spider-Man climbing up these walls. This is actually a world record of 5.76 seconds. Again, they're competing against each other. And they just fly around this wall.
Almost Spider-Man or something.
Just to show you one more time, it's kind of fast. In case you blink.
What is the world record for the height or for this wall?
This is the same wall, and it's just they go for speed at this point. They've been practicing this. Like, this is always the same wall, and they're just practicing it at this point, seeing who can get up there faster.
5.7 seconds.
Yeah.
I go up there like I
And that's pretty much the overview of rock climbing. If you have any questions, you can ask me, or go to your rock climbing gym. There's one up in Upper Side River that I go to. And yeah, thank you.